Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Read and Reread. I am Angelia, and today I am doing the March of the Mammoths tag. This is an original tag created by Jim from Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff. Jim tagged me, and Jim discovered that there really was not a mammoth tag, and so he has addressed this situation and created a mammoth tag. March of the Mammoths is an annual event in March where we celebrate massive books by choosing a book that is at least 800 pages and either reading the whole thing or at least getting started and just embracing the special reading pleasure of delving into a long, immersive kind of a book. And today I'm doing something I don't usually do, which is I'm going to film 2 videos because of these March events that I really want to get them out in a timely manner. And so we're going to do the Mammoths right now, but later today I have a St. Patrick's Day tag also coming out. So this is either a happy announcement or a public service announcement warning you to take cover before my videos come raining down. But right now, let's focus on the Mammoths. And thank you, Jim, for tagging me. I think these are great questions. Number 1, are you currently reading a Mammoth? Yes, I am. I am reading the Count of Monte Cristo right now, and when I finish reading this, it will be the longest book I've ever read. I am right now on page 134, so I only have less than 1,000 pages to go, and I'm enjoying the Count very much so far. Number 2, what is the biggest book you have ever read? Well, it depends on editions, and Jim kind of talked about that in his video too, but prior to the Count of Monte Cristo, the longest book I ever read was either The Stand or David Copperfield. So depending on which edition. Now, I read The Stand, the original 1978 edition, not the one where he later added more pages. So I think one time in the past there was a tag that asked about longest book, and I thought it was The Stand, but then I realized I read the shorter Stand, probably as a new release because that's how old I am, and I was in the first flush of my Stephen King heyday back at age 13, 14, and I was just reading all of these books by Stephen King, and that's when I read The Stand. I don't know. I think I had a copy of it and I don't anymore. Where did that go anyways? How do you lose a book that long? Anyway, let's focus. So I think it was The Stand, but David Copperfield is kind of running neck and neck, and I read that more recently. And then Middlemarch is kind of probably in third place because I think it comes in just right at that 800 pages. How long is Great Expectations? That's pretty long too. Anyway, those are my longest books. Number 3, what is the smallest book you ever read? Well, outside of children's picture books, I guess the longest book I read, an adult book that was marketed as a book, was So Late in the Day by Claire Keegan. I guess it was marketed as a novella, but it's pretty much on the edge of just being a longer short story. It has actually a really beautiful little cover. It's a pretty good story, but really it doesn't really feel like a novella. It feels like a story. But it is a book. I think it's the shortest one I have. Number 4, is the size of a book intimidating? Yes, it is. It trips me up all the time. I have big book trepidation. I wish I had big book energy, but it's hard to muster it up. And not just mammoths. Mammoths are kind of a special category, but even the everyday longer books, anything longer than 400 pages, I have a really hard time scheduling it in. First of all, if it's contemporary, I am worried that it's not going to be as good as I want it to be, that I'm going to get in the middle and wonder what happened to the editor. I don't worry about that so much with classics. They don't seem to be quite as guilty of having a lot of extraneous material. Well, maybe Charles Dickens sometimes, but there's just, I don't know. I just have trouble embracing. But then once I get going, I'm usually fine. But it just, yes, it daunts me. And when I see a video and people are doing a book haul or book reviews or a prize list, and then they hold up that big chunkster, I always think, oh no, oh, ah. And sometimes I do eventually read it, but it throws me off. It really does. Number 5, is size a consideration when deciding what to read next? It is, because of all of the events and projects and buddy reads. When I have it's kind of a puzzle to work of when to start a book, because I can only really accommodate reading 2 books at once. Sometimes a third, if the third is a nonfiction book that's informational, not a narrative, or it's a collection of short stories. But if it's just novels, I can only handle 2 at a time. So I have to slot them in a certain way to be able to participate in all of the different events in the month. And so what happens is a book comes up, like I've been talking about this one for a year and a half, and I really, really do want to read it. I know it's going to be good. I don't really have a trepidation about it, but I just can't fit it in. It's always too long. I always have a slot where I'm thinking, well, I need to read a book that I'll read in about, 4 days, 3 days, 5 days. And that's not it. It keeps missing the schedule. And I have several books like this. I don't know. What do I do? All right, number 6. How many pages long is the book you are reading now? Well, I'm reading 2. So we have our Mammoth, which is 1,200-ish pages, I think. Some of this is notes back here, but it looks like it's 1,243 in this edition. And then the other book I'm reading right now is Heartburn, which is much shorter. I think it's under 200 pages. So I have a short one and a long one going right now. Number 7, what is the average length of the books you read? Well, according to Storygraph, I read, in this current year, 75% of the books I've read have been under 300 pages. So I skew towards the shorter ones. And then when I look at last year, it was something like 66% in that range. And then the next biggest chunk was the 300 to 400. So yes, the over 400s really take the hit in my reading schedule, and still trying to figure out how to fix that. Number 8, do you think humans will bring back mammoths from extinction? I think they're trying. I know they're messing around with the DNA. I know that they did something with the DNA and they made those fluffy mice. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. I think they're trying. And the next question is, do you think they should? Probably not. I've read too many science fiction and apocalyptic books to I don't know. It sounds dangerous. I'm thinking about How High We Go in the Dark, when they messed around in the Arctic and then they revived the ancient virus, and I don't know, I read too many books. So yeah, they probably will, but maybe they shouldn't. I don't know. What do you think? So that's the end of the tag. It says to tag some people, and I thought about all the people I know that are participating in reading Mammoths, and Jim tagged them all already, and then my mind dried up. So I hope that everybody does try this tag. If you are reading a Mammoth, or you have some convincing excuse for not reading Mammoths, that would also be an interesting video. Or just put your comments down below, or you don't have a channel. I would love to hear what you think about Mammoths, your favorite one, current ones versus older ones, whatever you want to say. Love to hear it. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.